So today's adventure, we're going to do boom-based bushings in the CX245. Now there's a cheat here. You can position this and you can actually use the hydraulics to lift the boom away from the machine to do it. Now I've done that in the shop with an overhead crane for backup, and I've done it in the field because we didn't have shit. The problem is that if something goes wrong, it gets expensive very quick. So what I'm actually doing today is I'm dropping the arm off of this, and then I'm going to get the boom down on the ground, do the bushings, then I'll put it back together. And that'll also let me re-shim the arm to the boom and tighten it up. So we're getting parts for this 245, and I thought once you got into the 245s they started bushing the mainframe, and the parts department said no, there's no bushing, we can't find them. I'm no fucking rocket surgeon, but I'm pretty goddamn sure that those are bushings. This is why you inspect your pins before install. Welding slag, welding slag, welding slag. If I tried to install this pin without catching that, it would get so fucking stuck in there. So unfortunately, we need bushings. So I'm not going to put this back together and have this thing thumping around. So back over here today, I've got new bushings. So I'll clean these up and get the bushings out of there and cut those bushings out. So the boom-based bushings are out. The frame bushings are out. Got our new boom bushings, new frame bushings. So get the boom bores and the frame bores cleaned up, and then I've got liquid nitrogen because these are pretty stout bushing, and I'm not going to fuck around trying to press a bushing in right next to the cap glass there. So usually when I do a video, anything to do with bushings, people ask about crush. It varies on the equipment. So like this frame bushing, it's 1/2 inch thick. It's got almost 8 thousandths of crush on it. These don't have much. These are only about 3. I have seen some, like the ones that go out in the end of the dipper arm, that have been up to 10 thousandths. So I've seen the comments several times. People say, well, it's a thousandths of crush per inch of diameter. It's not always true on equipment. And the other thing people bring up is liquid nitrogen and heat. They say if you're using nitrogen, you don't need to heat the bore. I always heat the bore. If I'm using liquid nitrogen, I heat the bore. If it's a few thousandths, it's not a big deal, but when you're dealing with something like this, I heat the bore and I freeze the bushing. So what I can recall, I've only ever stuck 2 bushings doing this. One was on a 450 arm when I was learning. The other was that bushing on a 670-5. I froze the bushing and I didn't heat the bore. That bushing went in about 1/3 of the way and it stuck. And it fucking sucked. And there we go. So one thing they changed on these bushings, this is your inside bushing. This is your outside bushing. And the old ones are smooth. So your grease would come into this passage, it'd come into the bushing, and it would get forced out towards this one. See, they changed the grooves on the new ones. And the outside bushing, they grooved for grease. So what I'll do when I put these in is I'll actually grind a grease groove in the boom so that grease can come over and pick up that groove on the bushing. That'll make it a lot easier for grease to get out to here instead of having to force its way the whole way, because if that inside seal goes out, then it just goes into the boom cavity. That's all it is. It's just a little passage for grease to pick up that other bushing. And that's not going to weaken the boom. Most of the time when you do bushings and somebody's done them before you, they knife the hell out of the bore with a torch. It's fun. Stuff like this I usually just press in, but since we have the good stuff, and again. So I'm getting ready to fly this boom. I gotta put the new outer grease seals in there. One thing while it's down on the ground is this upper pin. It's a good idea to slide it out and grease it and then get some grease. It doesn't get greased in this bore and it'll get dry like you see here. And then you'll get a boom squeak. So a lot of times when you got a boom that's squeaky and you can't figure out what it is, it's this. Sometimes it's loose clamps on the pipes or rubber isolators that are worn out, but that can cause a squeak. So what do you do when the surface for the seal is worn out? Perfect. So when I'm going together, I always pin the right cylinder first, because with both of them unpinned, you can knock that rod in. And then when you do this one, you can stand on the track, and it's a lot easier to line it up. And when you're pinning the arm, if you can hang it from something, that is the best way to do it, because now you can move it, you can twist it, it makes it way easier.